This is gonna be funny. This is gonna be
I'm.
hilarious.
I don't.
What's
You
up,
know,
good people?
this topic has me stressed out.
I know
It
it did
has
me.
me. It has me really, really stressed. Because
Like I already posted social media wise like 4 days ago. My top 7 list. It's different now. It's like it's different.
yeah, yeah. You know what, listeners, welcome back to the New Block Nerds podcast. I'm your host Chris, aka Prince, with the homie Darron, aka Manic Grizzly. Guys, Darron threw an interesting topic in our group chat this past week. Your top 7 favorite movies. Now, keyword there is favorite. This is not
Yes,
best. This is not what we think are the most well constructed movies. These are just our personal favorites. Um, and we had a bit of a not an argument, but we were discussing whether or not we wanted to talk about honorable mentions because they're when you do seven's kind of a weird number.
that's
Usually it's
why I
like 5 or
chose it,
10.
bro. That's why I chose it because if you do top 10, you got wiggle room. The last two is whatever. Top 5 is extremely hard, extremely hard. So I said, let's cut in the middle. Let's go 7. The thing with the honorable mentions is who's on your bubble, bro. Because oh yeah, fans. By the way, this is Sunday cinema section we're gonna start doing. Every so often, a couple weeks or so, we're gonna drop a Sunday one, and it's gonna be of the films that we love. So we did Gladiator. That was there. Go back and check it out if you have not. These next 7 of each of them will be 14 videos prolonged of us actually getting to know each other's friends more, and also like you like this film. All right, let me go check it out, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, as
There's
far as the bubble, these didn't make the cut.
uh
So right now, my good friend, what was your? I'll give you 2 bubbles. What was the 2 bubbles you had?
okay. I will give you my 2 honorable mentions and I literally just changed it. I'm looking at my list and my number 7 spot just got bumped to an honorable mention for something else.
Right now, you just bumped.
And it pains me to say this, but my honorable mention that used to be my number 7 is Akira. It is now an honorable mention. It is an honorable mention. Those of you who do, and
I don't know you.
we're not covering our honorable mentions, but those of you who have not seen Akira, it is an animated movie that was made in what 1988, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It is an absolute masterpiece of a film. Ask anyone who's really into anime who's watched this movie, they will tell you that it is a masterpiece.
I
But
don't. I don't know you anymore.
he look, here's why. Here's why I had to bump it. Again, this is favorite, not
Yes.
best. This Akira is objectively a better movie than most of what I have on my list, in
Yeah,
my
but like
opinion.
these are movies for the fans that if like you're home alone, you pop a movie in, you can watch it unlimited times, and it may be stupid to most people. You may be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, this movie is like garbage," but you love it, and that's why it's in your top 7.
Yep. Yep.
So what you got?
My so that's one honorable mention. My other that got bumped was Hitch. I I love Hitch. I love it. But there is another movie that's like it, that's kind of like it, kind of like a rom com that's in my top 7 that I felt edged it out. And who knows? I mean, if you ask me tomorrow, it could be different. But those are my 2 honorable mentions. So I don't want to speak any more about them because it's going to break my heart. So Darron, what are your 2 honorable mentions?
Uh, we have a little dilemma, ladies and gentlemen. I just realized I have 8 on my list,
Uh
so one's
oh.
getting cut right now. Whoa, that's messed up. I thought I was solid. I thought I was good.
That's what you get. You brought this on yourself.
Oh my gosh! So one's actually an animation film that you probably never. Most of my films, ladies and gentlemen, you're like, Darron, what's wrong with you, bro? How do you like these films? Your taste is all over the place. You probably never heard of some of the films that I like. So the one in particular is called Redline. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's an animation film. One of my favorite video games of all time is Twisted Metal. So picture Twisted Metal mixed with Gran Turismo, Need for Speed, but in animation form. You actually go on Amazon Prime right now and watch it. It's about 2 hours. It's like speed racer type flow, all that kind of stuff into it. It's amazing. It's illustration's great. Shout out to Paul. Paul is the one that got me on that film, and it's actually a masterpiece for it. And I'm like, are you playing with me? You found me like almost like a Twisted Metal animation film, and it was brilliant. So that was in my bubble. It didn't make it, and I just realized that Pacific Rim just got knocked out of my top 7. And y'all know me. I love the mechas. I love kaiju's, everything about that. Damn, it's got knocked out. That was my 2 bubbles.
I'm really interested to see
Damn, it got knocked out.
what your like official number 7 is gonna be now, because
You've never heard this film ever in your life. You probably have never heard the film that I want to say.
that's
Yo,
fine.
I thought I had it down. But if you haven't seen Pacific Rim, there's 2 of them out right now. Go back to the first one. Enjoy it. Just savoring it. It's amazing. It's really like pretty much mega Iron Man's in this whole thing, mixed with fighting Godzilla and other animals, just coming out of the actual bottom of the sea. It's madness all over the place. Go watch that film.
So those are your 2 honorable mentions, huh?
Yeah, look at my list, bro. I'm a little tight right now, bro, because that was number
It's
7.
tight.
That was
tight.
number 7.
It's tight. It's tight. And again, guys, remember this is our favorite. This is not what we think are the best movies, the top 7 best movies ever made. They're just our favorites, what speak to us in our own personal way. Darron, do you want me to go first?
Absolutely.
For my number 7?
Absolutely.
Right. My number 7 is Finding Forrester.
I was wondering if that's gonna make a cut. Could you mention?
Yeah, it had to. It had to make my top 7.
Give me like a little brief, because we're gonna go over in depth when I have to watch it. So yeah, tell me about this. Why you like it?
So I love this movie, partially because of my dad. I remember when I was a kid, me and my brother were kids. My dad insisted that we watch this film when we were kids.
Yeah.
He insisted it, and I love my dad for that, because this movie is amazing. It is, especially as a young black kid that was got really good grades and was pretty decent at sports. It was something that I realized the more I get older why he made me watch this movie.
Yes.
I mean, essentially the brief synopsis is it's about this kid Jamal who he's really smart. He's a really talented writer. He gets into this private school, and he befriends kind of a recluse retired author, like famous author. And it's really just about him kind of like navigating the politics of like, him being an inner city kid going to a private school surrounded by a bunch of people who don't particularly like him or want him to be at that private school, teachers and faculty included. And it's just kind of, following his journey and, the bond that him and this retired author share throughout the movie. And it's really a great movie. It has a lot of really great lessons to it. I think, especially as a young black kid, it would be required watching for me in my household. So Finding Forrester is my number 7.
I'm looking forward to it. Again, like fans, we're gonna review every film that we're seeing. So you're not gonna go in deep with all of them. We're just gonna like name drop some. That's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see it. Where can I watch it right now?
Ooh, I actually, let me get back to you on that. I don't know. It came out in like 1990. I want to say like 1996, but I might be wrong. But it definitely came out in the 90s. I will get back to you on that.
We won't get back on that. So, little confession for me. Don't laugh when I tell you this. I used to wanna. You ever like when you're a kid, you had these like crazy dreams and you want to do these things, right? So I used to always. I grew up. I love blues. I love the music, the sound, the natural instruments. Something about that just gravitated towards me in a different spot of my soul than everyone else. So I actually wanted to be like a tap dancer. Like I used to actually like had the tapping shoes on the floor. I used to do all that stuff, bro. Like so don't even make that face. I used to want to do that all the freaking time. So whenever I hear jazz music, it just does something to me. Like I can
I'm
do
sorry, I gotta interrupt you. You know my brother when he hears this, he's never gonna let you live this down.
I know I said it's confession, but I'm being truthful. Like there's some music you listen to and it like, all right, I can do it. Sometimes I'm in the car. It's literally classic or jazz music, bro. I'm by myself. I'm just cool. And I feel comfortable just listening to that kind of music. So that brings us to this actual film, which is not only music, it's a powerful message. And it's actually a recent film. It came out on Netflix. It's called A Jazz Man's Blues. So not jazz and blues, but jazz man's blues. If you haven't seen it, it's a very serious, powerful film. It deals with interracial relationships. Also deals with how the culture was back then when the rules were a little different back then for people of color. And this is just a straight powerful film. The music, the soul, everything about it, just it's it speaks volumes to me. It could have been higher on my list. It really could have been. That's how much I don't want to tell too much to it because when you watch it, you can be like, dang, like you like this kind of film. But it's just something about it. Like it deals with brothers, it deals with broken households, everything about, but then also having a positivity at the end, but then also consequences at the end. What happens. So I just enjoyed the film. It's on Netflix right now if you want to. A Jazz Man's Blues is my
A
number 6.
jazz man's blues. I can't say that I've ever heard of it, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to check it out. I mean, if
Yes. I
that's your
think Tyler
thing.
Perry has something to do with it too. Now thinking about I think Tyler Perry has something to do with that. There's films that Tyler Perry has done that's outside of Medea that you wouldn't even think he actually was a part of. That are serious tone.
All right, moving on to number 6. This might come as a surprise to a lot of people, but my number 6 is The Parent Trap.
And you told me that, and I thought you were joking. You're serious?
I am not joking.
Yo.
Ask anyone that knows me. I
Mm-hmm.
love this movie. I love this movie. I watch it anytime it's on TV. I will watch it. I will stop what
I
I'm doing and I'll watch it.
okay. I'm looking forward to watching it again because I
So
remember it, but now I like. Why do you love it so much? Like, tell me one thing.
it's just fun. It's just wholehearted. It's just good fun. It's innocent. It's
Yeah.
just I don't know, man. It's just I love it. I don't even I can't even really explain it
Ooh.
to you. I like and those of you who haven't seen it, it's actually a remake of an older film. I think the original came out maybe like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
But the one I'm talking about is the reboot that came out in the 90s starring Lindsay Lohan when she was just like she
Yes.
couldn't have been no older than like 9. Um
Bro.
so basically, those of you who don't know the synopsis, she plays identical twins who were separated at birth. Their parents got divorced. One moved to London, the other moved to Napa Valley, California, and they both end up face to face at this camp,
Mhm.
where they discover that they are long lost sisters, and they have this plan that they're going to switch places with each other, and which is going to force their parents to have to switch them back so that their parents can fall in love again.
You're
And I
such a
think
well-rounded
I-
guy. Like
it's
I
it's
love
just
it. I love it.
it's just such a great story. Like I mean, I know it's cheesy, whatever, but
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
If you
okay.
get just have an open mind, go back and check it out. I again, this is I haven't checked where you can watch these on streaming yet. Forgive me,
Oh
um,
yeah.
but if you guys can find it, check it out. It's a fantastic movie. I love it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like rewatching that again. It's been a while, but yeah, that was definitely you didn't
It's
turn it
great.
off when you turned it on. All right, so that was your number 6.
That's my number 6.
All right, so number 6 for me. I think your brother would appreciate this. It's called The Prestige. The Prestige. Go back to two heavy hitters in Kristen Bell and Hugh Jackman. Like they were in this film. Like before they people really knew who they were. They had other films that were great. Don't get it twisted. But just they weren't a comic character. They were actual people. You had two rivals that were trying to outdo each other in the magic world, and the top magician wants to win. And there was a trick that was done that blew everyone's mind. And what happened? Was this real? Is this even magic anymore? Like, is this like cross the line of like what is going on? So suspense slash thriller slash powerful speeches and acting, like consequences. This film right there, Prestige. I think right now the streaming services are always weird, but I'm pretty sure if you go on Amazon Prime, you can probably check it out or rent it or something like that. But that's a film like that. Cardell, I think, is in top 7 too. That might be Cardell's.
Yeah, no, Prestige is a good pick.
Yeah, man.
That's a great movie. I remember my first time watching it. I'm not giving anything away here, but I
No,
remember
no, no, no,
my
no.
first time watching it, and I was just like, "What the fuck? What
Bro,
what did I just watch?"
yes. Yes. And that was, it made me like the whole like cliffhanger thing. It really made me do that because my father used to do all the time. You watch a film, he'll pause a film within 10 minutes of the film. Okay, who's the enemy? He's already watched the film to make sure we can actually watch it. And then you have to figure out, okay, what do you think's gonna happen? All right, what's this part? And you have to think and you have to focus on the movie. That movie messed my brain up so much, bro.
Oh
Just
yeah.
so much. And I loved it.
Oh
Loved
yeah.
it.
No, it'll do that. All right, so that's number 6 for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 5 for me. We're getting to our top 5 here, and I didn't even think about it being top 5 until I literally just said that. Number 5 for me is, don't hate me. It's the one that caused Hitch to get an honorable mention. It's Wedding Crashers. This movie is an instant
It's
classic
great.
to me.
It's
It's an
freaking
instant
great.
classic to me. I mean, I can quote this movie front to back. It is it's by far my favorite rom-com of all time. I mean, Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn together, throw in some Will Ferrell. I'm in. I'm in. That's all I need. Also, prime Rachel McAdams.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
I named my car is named Claire because of her. I named my car Claire because of her.
That's important. That's the really, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Listeners, I
Eas-
am learning as well. That's okay.
Easily my favorite rom-com of all time. Easily. Easily. I can watch that movie right now and laugh at it like I've never seen it before.
Bro, we actually may have to do like rom com situation also because there's other ones that like I have.
I
They're not top 10, but they're freaking awesome. And even like, well, even like the brown sugars, like we haven't like there's things that we haven't even talked about other films. Like I just want to talk about.
I honestly had an idea to do maybe we'll do like a top rom-coms of all time because
Bro,
I love a good rom-com.
yeah, that okay.
I
See,
love a good
this is
rom-com.
weird. So that's
So
number what for you?
that is number 5. That's top 5. Top 5 dead or alive, baby.
You ever look at your list and like, yeah, I could change this like this? I'm looking at most right now, like my head's down, like, nah, that's 3. That can't be top. What? That's number
Oh
5
yeah.
on the list?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
All right, so another thing, fans, this list has made me realize something about myself. Number 5 for me is it's a Marvel character, but it's not a DC Marvel film.
Okay.
Um, I'm realizing that I am more of if you were to take the X-Men out of Marvel and with Venom, I don't think I would care for Marvel. So number 5 for me is Logan. Logan is in number 5 is Logan. Yes.
Wow.
It's number 5. Remember I was contemplating some Winter Soldier, like Logan, like
Mm-hmm.
Logan's number 5 for me. I can watch Logan every single day. And I just it's X-Men or nothing when it comes down to team ups, all that kind of stuff. Like what you got? I got Logan. That's all it'd be. And like he's just that film, even when you have like even Patrick Stewart in there, Professor X, OG. It's X-23. When it's talking about making a new Deadpool, they say they're gonna bring her probably back in the next one. You gotta watch Logan and know what's going on with that. It's just that film was amazing. I know we did our comic book films before, and it was on the list as well. It's
Yeah.
just it's there. It's there.
No, Logan's a good pick, and I feel like,
Yeah.
especially when we talk about from like a comic book perspective, I felt like because Hugh Jackman had played that role for so long, this was kind of, I mean, of course now he's coming back for Deadpool 3, but
Yeah, that's an
At the
excellent
time,
pick.
it was really supposed to be like his swan song for playing that character, and it really felt like I mean, the whole movie, you really felt like, man, this is who Wolverine is supposed to be on the big screen. Like
Yes,
it just it felt so authentic. It knew exactly what it wanted to be,
yes,
and like it really leaned into just the trauma that someone like Wolverine would carry, being damn near immortal for hundreds of years, right? Like so, like
yeah.
it's yeah, that's a good pick. I mean that is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, for
And it's
like
just like,
for sure.
and this list made me realize that I love comics, but I love movies also. And I think my whole list would be top 7 comics. It's not. I
It's
only have
not.
2 in this top 7 as comic book movies. That's it. There is one more that's above Logan, which that's just me. But other than that, it's just different. That's different. So what's your number 4?
Number four. Number four for me should come to no surprise to anyone that knows me. Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans is my.
That's 4?
It's four.
I
Yes.
thought that would be
Hmm.
like top 2.
It's not top two. It's not. It's not. It's not top two.
Strokes.
Um, I love Remember the Titans. Being a kid that grew up playing football, I mean, when this came out, dude, I mean, you want to talk about quoting a movie front to back? If you put it on right now, you could put it on mute, and I will narrate the entire movie for you.
That's why I
It
thought it was
is,
top 2, bro. I thought I was top
yeah,
2.
yeah.
Easy top 2.
I love it to this day. I, it's my favorite football movie, and
This is number
football was a
4.
huge part of my life. So yeah, you'll understand why when I say my number three,
Dude,
why it had to
I
be
ain't gonna say
four.
it right now, but
But
there's something. If something else is not top 2, we gonna have to talk outside of here because like if Titans is not there, this other one better be there. If not, I don't know who you are.
look, like I said, ask me tomorrow. I could switch up the order.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I'm
could switch
changing
up
right
the
now in my
order.
head.
But I
Absolutely.
think my top two are solid. My
Solid.
top two are solid. My
Yeah.
top two are solid. But that's my number four. That's my number four. Go
Oh,
ahead. What do you got?
this one easily could be number 1. Easily could be number 1. And it's kind of like ironic that you mentioned sports movies. My favorite sport of all time is boxing.
I already know
I
where you're
love,
going with
yeah,
this.
I love boxing more than I care for football, basketball, anything else in the world. Um, Everyone said they love Rocky franchise. I did until they kept getting better and better and better. Creed 3 is, in my opinion, the best sports movie of all time, and just for me, that's just a perfect film for
Wow,
me.
that's a Darron hot take if I've
That
ever
is
heard
me.
one.
That is me. I like the back and forth seesaw of emotions. The overall contact brutal sport also tells you the path of boxing is not easy. Like it's not only physically, you see all the training you have to do, the soundtrack, the music, everything about this, like how they brings the hip hop culture, other cultures in this entire thing. You can literally sit back and just watch it, and it's just the whole roller coaster. It just if I just love it.
So
I love it.
without getting into like details,
Yeah.
why Creed 3 as opposed to Creed 1 or 2?
Reason why is because Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors, hands down, in my personal opinion, is unequivocally the best actor right now walking outside of like Denzel. Like you have the old heads, but the other one that's like rest in peace Chadwick. Chadwick was that guy. But as far as like you had the Wesleys back in the day, like the other actor where you can put him inside a film and he's just going to take over the scene, Kristen Bell type stuff. I feel that way about Jonathan Majors in every film that I've ever watched him in. He's like the person that did stage plays for so long, and then you put him amongst everyone else, and he's still the lion. And then you have Michael B. Jordan with his young energy, no matter what he does, it's almost like the shiny armor. And then the character that Jonathan Majors plays in this was just the grittiness of like the real life of like friends can separate and go separate ways and then come back, and the paths and characters are totally different. They hit it on a nail for me. This was just an
Okay.
amazing film. You actually sit back and even look at the lines and the energy, the overall like the seesaw battle the entire time. You don't realize the film is even like halfway over before you're like, yo, this is really cool. I just loved it. Just loved everything about it. It also showed Adonis also being old, and also had he come back just for that. He had already won everything. And then why it could have been number one for me is that the comic part. This is the first book I can think of. It concluded and then proceeded to follow in a comic book. And then the comic book is going to be the pathway to the next movie. So if you guys don't know about that, when you finish watching Creed 3 and it goes to his daughter, they dropped a comic book following his daughter at that age right now and her progressing through the story. That's magnificent. So yeah, it's
I can tell you're really into that because you were almost about to give away the farm there.
I know I did. Yeah, I love that.
You had me at Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he was amazing.
Okay, you ready for a top 3?
No.
All right, number 3 for me, Gladiator.
Okay, it made top. Okay.
Gladiator made top 3. I had to put Gladiator in my top 3. I was looking at my list and I was like, this movie's too good. It's just too good. It's too good to not be in my top 3. I love it too much. Again, we talk about quotables, we talk about spectacle, costumes, score. I love everything about it. I mean, as far as revenge movies go, this is top tier revenge movies. I mean, again, if you guys have not seen our Gladiator podcast or listened to our Gladiator podcast, go back, check that out. I'm not gonna reiterate what we've talked about on there here, but Gladiator is an all-time classic film. It's, I mean, I don't know what else I can say about it, honestly. If you don't feel the same about Gladiator, then I don't even just don't talk to me.
Oh man, so that's number 3.
That's my number 3.
All right, so I'll try not to give out too much anymore. Number 3 for me, it's gonna be a shocker. It's gonna be you're gonna look at me like, Darron, are you freaking serious?
I always look at you like that. So what else is new?
Yeah, number 3 is Ryan Reynolds' Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
No, it's not. Stop playing. No, he's joking. He's joking. He's joking. He's joking. He's joking. Why would you do that? You're the worst, man. You are really the worst.
I had to do it.
No, you didn't have to. You wanted to. Listeners, I apologize. For him.
On a serious note, my number 3 is Venom 1. Venom 1 is my number 3. Reason being is because I just freaking love Venom's character. And Venom 1 gave me hope. My favorite comic characters of having Agent Venom and the Venomverse. Like, you can love Spider-Man, that's cool, but they would never give the Venomverse his time. And I always thought that it was always like the side quests. But having his own franchise now, potentially, I can get that. And I really, really enjoyed the film so much. I'm a big Tom Hardy fan also. I know everybody said the film sucks, but you can kick rocks. I love that film.
I'm not gonna give you crap about this because I know how much you love Venom. Like, I know you personally, so I know how much you love Venom. I knew you were gonna find a way to put Venom on this list.
Absolutely,
I knew you were. But
like, Logan's a way better film. Logan's a way better film.
That's why I said favorite. It ain't got nothing to do with.
I can watch Venom all day. I can watch Venom 1 all day. So,
okay.
All right, what's your number? Wait, you're number 2.
Number 2. My number 2 is The Lion King.
No,
I'm about to say about the breakout in the song in here. No, Lion King it's my favorite Disney movie of all time. It is, I think, the best Disney movie especially of the Disney classics, kind of like that, 80s, 90s, all my 80s, 90s babies. Lion King it's just the best. Lion King is the GOAT, bro. It is the GOAT. Lion King's the GOAT. That is something, again, I can watch Lion King every single day. I can watch it every single day.
I'm putting you on the spot.
It still gives me chills. When Mufasa dies, it still makes me fucking weep. Yeah, see? That reaction right there, like this, we're 30 years later, man.
Because he didn't have to die. He didn't have to. I understand the story, but it didn't have to happen that way.
What I love so much about like The Lion King as like a Disney movie is like as a kid, I felt like a lot of what sets it apart. And I know there's death in other Disney movies, but I felt like The Lion King handled it in such a beautiful way and in like in a teaching moment that I feel like was very mature for the it was a I think it was kind of a big swing to like introduce some of those concepts for children. I mean, if it didn't have song and dance, it would be like a Shakespearean play. Like, let's be real about it. Like
They
we
do
talk
have a
about the
live
concept.
action. Yup,
You
it's
know what
great.
I mean? I mean,
great.
if you really think about it, we're talking about the story about a prince whose father, the king, is murdered by his brother, and his uncle also tries to kill him so that he can take the throne. And he has to come back years later to fight his uncle to the death to take his rightful place.
Just even thinking of like when you break it down like that.
If I pitched that to you, you would not think that that was a Disney movie.
Not at all.
You'd be like, is this Westeros?
Which actually fits in your realm with Gladiator, other films that you like. It actually, I'm happy that's number 2 because I'm looking forward to watching that again. Because I want to ask a question, but don't answer right now.
Okay.
Which is your favorite song on Lion King? So when we do the Lion King review, we gotta have like when you rewatch it, you know every single word. But like, which song was your favorite? Don't answer it right now. The answer for the pod.
I won't. But I already know what it is. There's only one logical answer. What? That's fine.
I just asking. It could be something different. Wow, that's your number 2.
The Lion King. Yep. And now one more little anecdote. Now that I have a son, dude, it hits so much different. It hits so much differently. Like,
that's gonna be dope. Yeah.
When I'm telling you right now, when you watch it with your son, you will weep.
They have Lion Guard right now. It's like another like
I don't acknowledge anything in the Lion King franchise except the classic.
More kid friendly. I'm trying to warm them up first before I get that one. You gotta like know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm trying Aladdin recently. Moana, like trying like different like sounds and music that
my
loves.
son loves Moana. I probably watched Moana a dozen times this week.
That's it. So learn that. So okay. So number 2 for me. This easily could be number 1. Number 1. The Harley Fall. The Harley Fall is my
that's number 2.
It's the number 2 film for me.
Wow.
Folks, if you don't know this about me, I grew up in Lower Delaware. I pop westerns all the time, watching movies, and he told me how like the net loves and how important like how the media portrayed cowboys and what they were versus what they really were back in the day were 2 different things. And this film, when I tell you this film, first of all, Jonathan Majors.
Yep, there he is again.
They have rumors of this supposed to be a part 2 to this. I don't know if part 1 was good enough for me. But you're talking about some heavy hitters. Some heavy hitters in this one. Idris Elba, Regina King. You have Lakeith in this one. You have Jonathan Majors in this one. These are just some of the highlights. There's some characters in this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a star-studded cast.
Yes, and then you had the love interest inside the whole thing, and like the music. I told you the music is big for me. Like there's scenes in the first part when he goes to like the brothel/bar, and they're actually like beating down the actual clapping and the lower base of the weapon, and they have an entire song to that. And then you're just drawn in like, yo. And then folks on the camera, Jonathan Majors looking in awe like that's his lady, but she ain't nobody to play with. Like there's just so much to this whole film. And then like you already know, like my other combo characters that I'm working on. That's it. It's just that's it.
Okay, now I see the connection.
You see,
I see the connection.
It does something to me. My middle name is Chanley. That was my pop-up's first name. It does a lot. Cowboy films do a lot for me, and that's by far the best one.
Yeah, and that's a newer one too. Like, I mean, that's something you guys should definitely check out on Netflix. It's really, really, really good. I remember when they were doing a promotion for it, like putting the trailers out, and I saw everyone that was in it, and I saw kind of like the premise, and I was like, yo, I'm in for this.
Oh, they did even like I mentioned the Chadwick Boseman in there with the whole train. Jay-Z did a production of music. That just tells you how this roster is ridiculous. I gave like 4 or 5 names. There's more characters in here. but I won't get too much. But that's my number 2, which easily
Okay.
could be number 1. Easily.
All right. Number 1. I'm really excited to hear what your number 1 is.
Oh, it's
Number
really high.
1 for me should come to no surprise to anyone. The Dark Knight is my
Rises,
favorite movie.
rises.
Watch your mouth. Don't ever play with me like that again. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight for me, number 1. Okay, y'all know that Batman is my favorite fictional character of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So when The Dark Knight came out, I still remember to this day when I was a kid, when I saw Batman Begins for the first time at the end, when Jim Gordon's talking to Batman about escalation and, kind of what kind of element Batman invites in Gotham. And when he turned over that Joker card at the end of Batman Begins, I I remember it was me, my dad, and my brother. We went to some restaurant to get burgers afterwards, and I don't even think I ate, dude, because I was so excited to see the Joker on the big screen. And when that movie came out, I mean, again, like we talk about, this was really the movie that transcended comic book movies into a completely different stratosphere in
Yes.
cinema. I mean, people can say whatever you want about comic book movies, but there is a before and after about how comic book movies are handled in Hollywood before Dark Knight and after Dark Knight. I mean, the impact that this movie has had, like when people were talking about this movie being great, it wasn't like, oh, this is great for a comic book movie. It's just like, no, this is one of the greatest movies that's ever been made.
I
And anchored by one of the greatest performances that we have ever seen in Heath Ledger. Like that, there are so many little nuances to it, and I cannot wait to break this down.
Yeah.
In detail when we do review this movie. But there's so many tiny little elements in this movie that come from the comics where you can tell that the writers really did their research, but they didn't hammer you over the head with just mindless, meaningless Easter eggs. Like, oh, here's this newspaper clipping has this number on it. That's a reference to this comic book. It's just like, no. It's just like little things about what makes Batman and what makes Joker the Joker. Little tiny things that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss. And I cannot wait to break that kind of stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, that pod might be 2 hours because I could go on a rant forever. But
It's okay. So we gotta do a part 1, part 2. We do it, but like I knew that was number 1 movie. Absolutely. When I said
yeah,
earlier that if Remember Titans was number 4, Lion King was what I was talking about. Lion King had your top 2. Like if Lion King was not your top 2, we'd be scrapping right now. I knew those 2 were film. It's a great pick. I can't even knock it. I would argue with you right now, with anyone right now, that Kristen Bell's trilogy, if it were to drop today, that would break every movie record there was.
oh,
But
I agree too.
but you had to have someone to start the fire, and that start a fire to get through everything you have in Marvel. Not knocking Marvel. What Marvel did as far as storytelling and progression and being a unit was amazing. But if you were to drop that movie right now, it's breaking everything. It's breaking
Yeah,
everything.
like I mean, I don't think we have the Batman without movies like The Dark Knight. The Winter Soldier doesn't exist without The Dark Knight.
You gotta have the grittiness. It's different. It wasn't the boom, pow, all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
It doesn't. It just that those movies do not exist without
Wow,
what The
I like
Dark
it.
Knight did. And what I'll say this, I just noticed this too. My top 3: Dark Knight, Lion King, Gladiator, all composed or the soundtrack was done by Hans Zimmer.
It's the ear, bro. I'm telling you, it's the ear. When you like something, it draws you in. It just draws you in no matter what.
Well, I think
Jeez.
because like when we talk about movies and like it's not just a visual thing, right? It's a complete experience, right? So like
Yeah.
some of the scores in those movies, I watch them today and they still give me chills. Like I feel like you feel the emotion come through in the music, where like
Yeah.
you can listen to the music and you know what's going on without any dialogue.
Bro, when we go over these freaking films and we go deeper into the score and the actors and everything else, this is gonna be a fun Sunday cinema thing to drop these movies. Everybody likes, subscribe if you like This is a little longer podcast, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. Wow. All right, so I'm gonna give you my number one, but then
Okay.
after that, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay. So my number one, you're probably gonna be like, Darron, are you serious? But if you think about it, it makes sense. It's the 2019 version of Godzilla King of the Monsters.
This is number one.
Number one film for me of all time.
I'm trying not to judge you for your own personal movie list.
I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, if you look at this movie list, you're like the shiny armor guy. I'm the darkness of this podcast because my films are kind of aggressive and always angry, and yours is like, yeah, Lion King, Remember Titans. Like you have
Parent
positive.
Trap.
Yes, I'm over here talking about cowboys and monsters that kill people. So the reason why Godzilla King of the Monsters, the 2019 one, my favorite one. I love Godzilla. I love everything about Godzilla. Godzilla has a universe that no one really knows about. They know about Kong, but there's actually a universe called the Monsterverse, where there's actually like in different continents a different being. Godzilla is just the king of them, but there's other ones that actually are apex predators as well. This is the first film. There's like 10 or 20 Godzilla films, but this is the first one that actually lit the fire for the continuous series. Like for instance, King vs. Godzilla, that's a young guy's King Kong. That's why bringing this one in. Then you also have other King Kong films come after that. It's almost like a Marvel universe, and they got it freaking right. If you look at my combo characters, Onyx, Godzilla. The reference of Godzilla being the mass destruction, but at the same time being the hero that I'm going to kick your butt. You can't do nothing about it. Leave me alone. I'm not going to be kissing your ass about it. But at the same time, I have my own. It's just everything about the overall destruction of the entire town. There's constant. I just loved it, bro. I just loved it. I don't know what it is in me. This destruction. It just does something to me. And that particular film, even like the growls and the screeches and everything else, like it pierces your ears to the point that you feel like, yo, he's right behind you. There's the thriller of everything about that. Now, there's a lot of actors in here that people don't care for, but that's a personal thing. And the actual film, it's great. I love it. I just freaking love it. Love it so much.
I had totally forgotten about your love for Godzilla.
I must be see that. You see it right behind me? I have a Godzilla piggy bank, bro. Like this is how it's not artificial. This is real. Next to Carnage, next to all that, is real. This is me.
I had forgotten about your love for Godzilla.
Yes.
But I did not see Godzilla being ranked this high. I mean, let alone number one. I didn't think it was going to be I didn't think it was going to be top 3.
Yeah, it's a film I can watch all day, especially that one, because there's visually like the sequence of the battles of who is the apex predator. There's a scene in there. We actually have one of the creatures following behind Godzilla, not following, but flying behind an actual chopper, and then go into a cloud. And then when into the cloud, you see the lightning coming down, and there's another creature in there that tears the other creature apart. I'm not going to name drop till you guys watch the film, but actually seeing all that happening, and then Godzilla's on the ground fighting somebody else. These are monsters we're just regular people. Like in real life, you put us in the jungle without weapons. What are we?
Food.
Exactly. And this film actually touches base on that. We are just here. We're just here. But the radioactiveness of when they actually come back and the culture comes afterwards, I just love the film. I just love the destruction. I do.
I shouldn't be surprised. I am surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised because you are Darron, and that is what Darron does. But guys,
my question I want to ask you.
I forgot about your question. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Here we go. What is one film that you thought would be on my list that is not on my list?
Oh, that's
like for me, I'm gonna say it. I thought The Batman would be at least number 7 because of The Batman. Not because I know you love Batman films. I was like, he's not gonna need 2. But if there ever was gonna be a 2, The Batman, I feel was just beautiful. I thought you actually put that on the list.
Well, without making this into like another Batman pod, I haven't decided where I rank the Batman as far as live action Batman movies.
Okay, that's fine.
I really love Batman Begins. Also, I don't know where I would rank the Batman, if I would rank it above or below.
So, what's one film you thought that would be on my list that's not?
I don't know. Honestly, the Godzilla one really fucked me up. That really threw me off. That really threw me off. I did not. I knew Venom was going to be in.
Yes.
Honestly, I thought that you would have another anime in your list. Like I thought
Yes.
that maybe you might have like a Studio Ghibli film in there, or even maybe Akira itself. But
When we
again,
go on to the
it just goes to show you that, like, I mean, like, we are like self-proclaimed like anime comic book nerds, but like in our top 7 favorite movies of all time, there's not a whole lot of them to go around. So, which
but
is
it also
interesting.
explains the characters we love. Like I was the Hulk, the Venom guy, Godzilla, like the
Right.
destruction guy. Like you're more of the guarded person, the protector, the Batman's. I get it. The Lion King, protecting the kin, everything else, the Batman family. I get it. It's kind of cool knowing these things about you. I can't wait to review these with you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. And guys, I know this pod went on a little bit longer than usual, but thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you're still with us, would love to see top 7s in the comments. If you guys
Yes.
have top 7 favorite movies of all time, um, we would love to check those movies out as well too. Let us know what you guys thought about our list. Please don't hate us. Again, this is our personal favorites. Your
Yo, go
favorites
check the
are
films out. Don't hate
your
the film. Go check them out.
your favorites are going to be different than ours, and that's okay. Right? So, I mean, let us know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe. But we will be breaking these down in the coming weeks. So, Darron, I'm really excited for this, man. I'm glad you came up with this topic, and I look forward to what shakes out from this.
Yes.
All right, guys, we'll catch y'all next time.
Yeah, peace and love.